Okay, do you know which country in the world outlawed chewing gum as a way of keeping their streets clean? If you answered Singapore, you would be correct. And that's where I have arrived today with a very special person. This is Raghul.
Hey, Andrew.
So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. Welcome to Singapore. Let's go to the Super Tree Grove. That's supposed to be the biggest of the lot in Gardens by the Bay. Are you game for it?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Let's do it. This is the Skywalk, I believe. Yeah, there you have amazing views of the Singapore skyline. It's actually my first time here.
Your first time?
It's one of those things which is like right next to you, so you don't ever visit.
Ain't that always the way? So how long have you actually lived in Singapore for?
Give or take 14, 15 years in Singapore. I came here first in 2006 for my undergrad. And yeah, I've been around away for like 4 or 5 years, but overall 14, 15 years.
So this has become home for you?
Pretty much home, yeah.
Are you ever going to move back to India?
Once you live in Singapore, it's really difficult for me to live somewhere else. It's comfortable, it's safe. So yeah, I think this is going to be home for a very long period of time. My wife, I just recently had a baby boy as well, who's 6 months old now.
Congratulations.
And the good thing about my current role at Trilogy is that I get to be flexible about the hours I work.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to work more US hours, which is more in the evenings for Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the perks of my job, right? Like, which helps me spend time with my son in the mornings and then work in the evenings. So yeah.
Parenting on shifts, working on shifts.
Yep.
That's a well-oiled machine you and your wife have going there.
Exactly. Except for the sleep, everything else is fine.
So what do you actually do for a job?
Oh, that's a good question. So I am actually SVP of Operations at Trilogy, which is one of the companies Crossover for Work hires for. I have two main roles in my company right now. One is we do acquisitions. We acquire enterprise SaaS companies and turn them around. And the other part is we support our business units, mainly from a non-technical operations standpoint. So yeah, that's primarily what I do for a living.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's great. The fact that I work with really smart people all across the world, right from all the way from New Zealand to all the way to the United States. We cover the whole globe. And apart from that, the work I do is pretty cool. So yeah, I really enjoy my job.
So what did you do before this job?
So I'm an engineer by degree. So I did my engineering in Singapore, electronic engineering. Post that, I joined banking. Don't ask me why. They were the ones who were paying the most back then.
I started out in banking too, my friend.
There you go. So I worked in banking. Then I decided to do my MBA for a couple of years in Barcelona. I always wanted to come back to Singapore because again, Singapore is home. And I came back here to join what was then a startup, Grab.
Mm-hmm. So Grab, like the taxi app.
The taxi app, yeah, correct.
Oh, they're huge.
They are huge now, but yeah, back in the day they were still not IPO'd yet. I joined Grab. I used to work in their financial services arm. And yeah, after that, I was at a stage where, I wanted something more. And Crossover kind of fit in. And I thought, why not apply here and see where it takes me.
You got everyone's dream story, right? You entered on the ground floor of a huge startup that became an enormous unicorn.
Yep.
And you left that behind for what you're doing now.
Yep. True.
How do you feel about that in hindsight?
Well, I mean, hindsight is hindsight, right? The thing is, every company, when they're a startup, they're like obviously much more fast. When I joined Grab, it was always the hope that once it was going to go IPO, that was the time I was about to leave. Mm-hmm. So that was always the plan. But yeah, from my perspective, I think it was the right time for me to move to a more sort of an exciting move.
Yeah, so you traded up.
Yeah. In hindsight, I would say I traded up, yeah.
When you've clearly succeeded here, I mean, you're an SVP and you were not always an SVP.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were the person that got promoted?
Well, I mean, probably have to ask my manager for that. But jokes apart, I think the important part is to leverage AI as much as possible to automate the processes which you do, which basically, in a way, make your role redundant, but instead make you focus on things which are more valuable for the company.
And that's a bold thing that you've just pointed out there, that actually making your own role redundant would elevate you.
Oh, for sure.
Would be a success story, not someone who's out of a job, but someone who elevates.
100%. Like, AI is not going to replace your job. The person who knows AI is going to replace your job.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, this is not actually something which is new, right? Like,
well, it feels like it might be starting to rain. What do you think? Should we keep walking and find another spot to sit down?
I actually have another spot within Gardens by the Bay, which is covered. So maybe we move there.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's do that.
And what does your team dynamic look like?
I think the common thread is that we all like to get stuff done. I mean, we are, I would say, resilient because again, like, it is an intense job. I'm not gonna lie. It's an intense job. We need to get stuff done, but getting it done quickly rather than sitting on decisions for weeks and months. Like, we get stuff done in days and weeks, I would say, rather than months and quarters.
And the kind of intense environment that you're describing, that can lead to burnout if it's not managed effectively. How do you navigate that?
100%. I would be honest, I wasn't great at navigating it when I first started. And to a great extent, it did lead to a sort of a burnout for me because I was trying to juggle both, like US hours and Singapore hours.
It's hard not to, right?
And it's hard not to in a digital age, right? The way I mitigated that, took a career break. 10 weeks or so. It's been, I think it's almost been a year now since I...
So what's the impact been for you on your quality of life? You were approaching burnout a year ago. Where are you now?
Well, I would say I'm in a much better place for sure. Both my manager and my team have made arrangements to make sure that people are not burnt out, whether that means you take appropriate time off, whether that means you have like clear boundaries on when you're available and not available.
So your direct managers then that you report to have taken an investment in your quality of life and your
100%.
Your work-life balance
100%.
and in preventing burnout.
I mean, not only in my quality of life, I would say for the team in general, we want to make sure everyone has the quality of life. And again, we advertise our roles as it's 100% remote flexible role. So we do want to stick to that and not just be a lip service. And I think it's a misconception that putting in long hours translates to good work. In fact, you need your rest. That's what a human body needs, right? You need your rest to be able to deliver your best. And I think that's a fact I've realized now as well.
You cook dinner twice as long, you burn it.
Exactly.
So talk to me about the opportunities that are available to you here in Singapore and how those compare to what you're doing now.
Well, in terms of pay, I would say Singapore is, again, one of the most developed nations in the world. So the pay scale generally is good here. So it's not a key differentiator, I would say, in terms of what like Trilogy offers me. I'm not going to say there's no pay bump, but there's a decent pay bump. But at the same point in time, there's no commute. There's no like going to office. So for me, I think the USP of this role is the job scope I have and the fact that it's a 100% remote role. So yeah, for me, that's a bigger USP than just the pay. But not gonna lie, the pay is good as well.
I think you're the first person who's ever said that the pay wasn't the draw card for you.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, pay is good, right? But if I were to be asked like, what's that thing, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Like there are obviously like pay is important. That's kind of like table stakes. But then beyond that, for you to be sticking around in a company for a long period of time, you need to like the people, you need to like the culture. I mean, life is too short to, spend time with people you don't like or things you don't want to do.
Exactly.
So for me, I think, that's a draw card really for being in Trilogy.
Yeah, the fact that you could get amazing pay at a number of different employers, but because you're motivated by culture and you're motivated by work ethic and a style of operation, that you chose this over all your other options is actually a remarkable testament to the kind of place that you work in.
It is. At the end of the day, I work with people who make quick decisions. We're not sitting on things. We have a bias towards action. Which I love, right? Because, I have worked in companies before where it just takes ages to get stuff done.
That bureaucracy is a killer, right?
So we don't have paper pushers. We just don't have a scope for that.
What's something you're really proud of that you've been able to do?
We had this one acquisition where typically for acquisitions, you get at least a month to do diligence. In this particular case, we had 10 days wherein we had to do a diligence.
No pressure.
No pressure, all the functions, all hands on deck. I thought was just not possible because, again, in my traditional organizations where I've been part of, it takes months sometimes to get an acquisition done. But we were just given 10 days for certain reasons and we got it done.
That's like filming a blockbuster movie in 10 days.
Yeah, something like that, right? But the good thing was we were able to do the diligence on time. It wasn't like we cut corners because we had a proper scalable process in place, right? Which is what we take pride in. And it turned out to be one of our better acquisition stories, I would say, in terms of the returns we got.
What did that teach you? What was the outtake?
It's amazing how, humans work, right? Give them a specific time-boxed, time, they'll actually get it done to at least an 80% state, which I think was an important lesson. In fact, that's something I follow on a day-to-day basis, which is important in a remote work. What we always suggest people is to time-box things. Try to do it in an hour. If it doesn't get done in an hour, then put another hour in there, right? I always used to think that you need at least X number of weeks to get an acquisition done, but when we got it done in 10 days, I was like, sure, you can do it.
Nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible.
Just got to be creative, I guess.
100%.
You're a very, very successful person. What's your secret?
So I think to me, these are, I would say, the 3 keys to success. Communication, which is to the point and be specific. Bias to action. And the last one being time boxing your work.
I feel like I want to have a t-shirt that says bias towards action. If I get one printed, I'll send one to you.
Thank you so much. I would love to wear that.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Raghul.
Thank you, Andrew.
Fantastic getting to talk to you today. I'll give you a hug as well.
Awesome.
Have a great rest of your afternoon here in Singapore.
Thank you very much and good luck with your travels.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye-bye.